Hello everyone and welcome back to State Champs at the State Finals. Elizabeth Kuhn here with Emma Keel, and I just cannot believe that this season has come to a close. It feels like it just flew by.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was a really great season, a lot of growth across the state, a lot of programs making great strides. I can't believe it's over. It feels like we just got started with things, but a really great season to reflect on.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of just looking at the growth of the sport this season, I feel like we've just seen so many teams go out there, give it their all. Absolutely amazing competition so far this year. What would you say about the growth of this sport just in this season?
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell kids are investing in growing their skill sets. We're seeing across the board, every single team has at least one or two players who have really invested in the kind of off season in their skill sets. And I think it's really helping their teams progress as well and, setting a great example. So I'm excited about the future of girls lacrosse in Michigan. I think we're seeing a lot of great growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to just jump in and talk about some of these state championship teams. In Division I, Brighton won their third straight state championship over Rockford 7-4. Can you just really break down that matchup and why the Bulldogs were able to come out on top?
Yeah, after watching their semifinal game, I think I said that they really need to kind of get off the bus and get going quickly in the state final, and they did it. They were from the first whistle until the last pushing the envelope. Their offense was firing on all cylinders. Great cuts, great finishes. Defense was tenacious. Midfield, the draw teams did a really good job. I think Rockford, definitely put up a really strong fight. I think they just, didn't capitalize on as many offensive opportunities that they could have. Coach Ashton has done a great job. Dare I say, she's creating a dynasty out there in Brighton. But just a really fun game to watch. A lot of great athleticism on display.
Yeah, absolutely. We love to see that excitement. So exciting holding up that trophy. Looking forward, what do you really see in these two teams, the growth of them and just, maybe what they can do next season?
Yeah, I know a fair amount of players from both teams. And, again, it's the gals who are committed to putting in the work in the off season. So I know a lot of them are playing summer ball and really, growing their game in that regard. So, I would expect to kind of see them back where they were this entire season next year. I think those two teams are perennial top 10 teams. And it's, exciting to see them, challenge and compete with each other. Rockford making it back to that final this year was really exciting. So, I think the only way is up for those two programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And another really great matchup in Division II, really great programs we've talked about all season long. Grand Rapids Catholic Central, they beat Detroit Country Day in a close 10-9 win, their first state title since 2011. How were they able to go out and get the job done when, this is a close matchup?
Yeah, I had the privilege of being there in the stands watching the game, and it was a battle, just really gritty. Both teams, to be honest, I do feel like it could have gone either way. But I think there were certain points where Grand Rapids Catholic just really capitalized on their size and their strength in terms of putting the ball away, and their senior experience as well. Country Day, again, like the Rockford game, I feel like they did have the offensive opportunities, but, unfortunately, in terms of shooting and placing the ball, it just wasn't their day. These things happen. Fortunately, it was a final. But both teams really showed up to play. It was really exciting lacrosse, fast-paced, just what you want to see, in terms of growing our game and developing girls lacrosse in the state.
Yeah, and you mentioned you were at the game. Just talk about the energy, the atmosphere being there. What was it like?
It was awesome. You can see the huge grin that I have on my face.
Yeah.
It was a championship atmosphere. Even when you're approaching the stadium, all of the teams had great fan base turnout, which was amazing to see. You could hear it from outside of the stadium, and I think that's always a good indicator of kind of the excitement and the vibe that you're going to see inside the stadium. So just an amazing setting. And I talked to some of the players and they really enjoyed it. I think it's one of those kind of lifelong memories that you make. going into battle with your sisters at University of Michigan
Yeah.
Stadium on a nice Friday evening. The weather was great. It was just amazing. So, again, hats off to MHSAA. Hats off to the coaches who really pushed for this. Our student athletes deserve to play on that stage, and it was so cool. And I think that that kind of energy has been reflected, in everyone who I've talked to about it. So it was great.
That's awesome. And like you said, just having that setting, we've already seen a step up this season. Where do you think girls lacrosse is going to go even in the future? Next season, we got to see the athletes obviously perform on a huge stage. What do you just see in this sport and the growth of it?
Yeah, obviously I hope that we get to go back to the stadium next year, and maybe we get to play on the Saturday as opposed to the Friday. I know the boys had an equally impressive, turnout and energy as well. Saturday would be great, a little bit more flexibility for people who have, real 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
Going back to that setting, I think is just a great incentive for our student athletes to really push and grow. But I've been in the state of Michigan for almost 6 years now, and every year, things are getting better, and the girls are kind of pushing themselves, and really working to improve their skill set. I think it really helps when we have the reigning Tewaaraton winner is a Michigan product, Izzy Skane. We have Jill Smith at Michigan. We have Grand Valley State, leading the way. Lawrence Tech, of course, NAI leading the way there. So there's just a lot of great lacrosse happening, and I do think it's really energizing the young women that we have in the state to get out there and grab a stick and start playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of the athletes that have gone to that next level and are really pushing it for girls lacrosse. Talking about some of the athletes from this season, who are you looking forward to most watching at the next level? We've talked a little bit about some of the athletes, but yeah, who are you looking forward to?
That's a really great question. And there are so many, and I will undoubtedly not be able to name names because there are so many athletes. So Claire Morosi from Grand Rapids Catholic heading to Northwestern. I think she's someone to watch out for. I've never seen her play in person until the final, and she's definitely, a force to be reckoned with on the field. So I'm intrigued to see how she does at Northwestern. Obviously a great program, but I think she has the athleticism and the skill set to compete there. Hadley Keating going to Notre Dame, Emma Rico going to Michigan. We're sending out these really talented athletes to top lacrosse schools, amongst a lot of our other graduating seniors who are going to play at the next level as well. So, it's exciting. I think the 2024 class in general in Michigan has been phenomenal, and the 2025 class, as well. I can't forget Melina Cotter, who's going to Syracuse. So, we're getting out there, and I encourage, college coaches, recruit girls from Michigan because we can play.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had so much fun covering all of these athletes all season long. We want to thank everyone so much for tuning in. And for Emma Keel, I'm Elizabeth Kuhn. We've had so much fun, and we hope to see you guys next season.
State Champs at the State Finals is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Visit ltu.edu. State Champs at the State Finals is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. The Detroit Athletic Club Foundation Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards. To see previous winners, go to dacathleteoftheyear.com.